This program is brought to you by the Reeves Law Firm, www.reevesfirm.com.
In the know.
Good evening, everyone.
In the know. Tony Reeves, fire. Following the news in any way, shape, or form. No shortage of things to talk about. What does it mean? What will it bring? Is this a reality we simply have to accept? Tony Reeves, fire. Tony Reeves.
Let's go ahead and get started.
All right. Hello, everyone. I know you're probably saying, you said 4 o'clock, my friend. You can't tell time. Hold on. Let me go ahead and get this thing going because I actually got 2 things going at the same time. Hold on a second here. 1 second. So please bear with me. I'm moving a little bit on the slow side, but I will be answering questions accordingly. Hold on. This thing is trying to be difficult, I see. All right. First of all, my apologies for the delay. For those of you who are probably sitting here wondering what happened, I thought you said you were going to start this at 4. Let me just throw this out there to you, just food for thought. We're actually, as you probably, some of you probably already know, trying to get everything, rocking and rolling accordingly. So for those of you who are patient enough to hang around, I thank you with the utmost heart. For those of you who are checking this out a little bit later, probably wondering why are you looking around, it's because I'm looking at 2 different directions, so please forgive me here. Let me see here. So give me 1 second here. Let me get this one more time. It's amazing trying to do this live on Facebook, but as fate would have it, it's not letting me do what I want to do. So give me 1 more second, and if I can't get it to do what I need to do, then I'm just going to roll here with it over here on this one. Because unfortunately, like I said, I'm probably have to not do, the show won't be quite as long as I normally would do. So kind of give me 1 second. So notification. So let me see here. Post as. We're good. Give me 1 second. Of course, this makes way too much sense. Of course, I'm doing something different that I've never done before. I'm doing this actually live. And what I mean by live, I'm doing it live on both medias, which I've never done before. But since I find myself in the midst of trying to rush through, I'm going to do this. How about I just focus on this? Okay. Interestingly enough, I've got, before I get rock, I'm not going to worry about it. Today we're just going to focus more on my normal one here. So let's keep it going. Surprisingly enough, I've got a few questions that were posed to me beforehand for those persons who weren't able to make it. So let me see if I miss those ahead of time. First of all, I want to thank my man. Big ups to you, Victor. I got a message from you saying, "Hi, Anthony. My question is, I applied for Social Security in December last year. I got denied, then did an appeal with my Social Security lawyer, now waiting for a hearing. But I took a Section 32 from the employer. I want to know what my payment would be if I got approved. I'm supposed to get $1,996 a month, but I'm hearing I'm going to be lawyer. What's the deal? I'm in New York." Okay. First of all, let me just be blunt, because whenever people call me and they tell me they have or send me a message telling me that they have an attorney, I'm always like, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. Your attorney has the answer you need. they are in the best position. Coming to somebody who doesn't have access to your file and basically giving you a hypothetical response, because that's what all I'd be able to give you is a hypothetical response, is not the most prudent way about this information. The reality is that if you're going for back pay and it's based on your earnings, it goes up each year for cost of living allowance. So whatever you're entitled to receive this year is not going to be the same as previous years. So Victor, I would strongly encourage you, I mean strongly encourage you, to reach out to your attorney and ask if your attorney would go through your file and give an indication as to what your payment's going to be. Also, depending on whether you're working or have worked for a governmental agency and so forth, there may be an offset. So do that, and this way you will get a better answer in terms of what you're entitled to. Check that one off. Now, somebody said, I have a medical malpractice case pending. Am I still entitled to disability? Okay, here's what you need to realize in the grander scheme of things. One doesn't necessarily have a bearing on the other, per se. The fact that you have a medical malpractice case, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, because, Sherry, thank you for asking your question. The reality is that I have, the two don't really have an interplay with each other. Your medical malpractice case is because someone committed you're alleging that a medical provider did not operate under the standard of care in terms of committing malpractice with regards to resulting in you being injured. That does not necessarily in of itself entitle you to disability benefits. In order to determine if you're entitled to receive disability benefits, you need to go and you need to apply for disability. And then when you apply, Social Security can make that determination of whether or not you're eligible to receive disability benefits. So it's important for you to go ahead and do that. So the short answer to your question is I have no idea, and neither will you until you actually apply. So I would encourage you to go forth and do that. Now, Victor actually had another question. What is the offset for workers' compensation when you receive a lump sum towards your Social Security? Woo! This is a serious question. Thank you, Victor, because it pops up to me on a regular basis. All right. First of all, the way it typically works, and trust in mind, I tell people this all the time. The reality is Social Security is responsible for calculating the offset with regards to workers' comp. That's not something a disability attorney has to worry about. They're just responsible for helping you get on disability. Workers' comp offsets, that's on Social Security and their calculations. But if you're trying to get an idea of what it is, I'm going to try, I got to check because I haven't had this in a while, but I'm going to tell you based on my past experiences. The rules may have changed a bit, so I encourage you to find out once you get a back pay, once you get your lump sum and you get Social Security, you'll definitely know for sure. The way it works is typically if your combined workers' comp benefits and your Social Security monthly disability benefits is greater than 80% of your average current earnings, you're going to have an offset. Now, I just said a mouthful of marbles, and you're probably saying, okay, well, how does that work? All right, so let's take it from Victor's questions piece by piece. First, you get a lump sum, and you're wondering, how does that lump sum apply to my Social Security? First of all, Social Security looks at you at the time you get the lump sum, and they project forward to determine what that monthly amount would be if you got that as a monthly payment as opposed to one lump sum. Now, you're probably also asking yourself this magical question, is this going on forever? No. Typically what they do is, let's say, like I'm 47, and I get workers' comp, a lump sum today. So what they do is they calculate from now going forward, okay, from now, the average male lives to about 75, the average woman lives to about 78. So they say from 47 years of age to age 75, that's 28 years. We take that years, we multiply that by the number of months. You know, we know that's 12 months in a year. So you basically say, okay, for every year, it's 12 months times 28. So you basically, let's say, calculator, old school. So you got 28 years. Okay, so go back to it again. 47 years old, okay? The average man lives to the age of 75. So 75 minus 47, that's 28 years. There's 12 years in a year times 12. That means it's 336 months. So then what happens is that they look at the lump sum. They take out those things that are not offsettable. Like let's say, for instance, you get $100,000 and a big lump sum. Okay, let's say out of that $100,000, 10% of that goes to your attorney. Okay, so that's 10,000. So that's 90,000 here. So let's say that they also, if I remember correctly, I don't know if it's past, I think it's past medical expenses, but there's certain medical expenses that they take off the top that doesn't count towards that monthly amount going forward. But for clean purposes, let's say the only thing that they can take off is the $10,000 for your attorney fees. So you got $90,000, okay, divided by 336 months. Remember, that's for the 28 years. That means your monthly benefit would be $267 for workers' comp. Now, that's one part of the equation. The other part of the equation is the Social Security. So let's say that it's determined your Social Security is going to be $800 a month for purposes of benefits for Social Security. So it's $800 plus $267. Okay? So you got $800 plus $267. That for right now is part of your number that you're going to be looking at. So then you go forward and you ask yourself the magical question, how do you make the determination as to what is the offset? The offset comes into play. Listen carefully. The offset comes into play, okay, when you're looking at your average current earnings. So let's say, for instance, that you were making in a month, you made $1,000 every 2 weeks. So that's about $1,600. You basically made $2,000 a month. So what's $2,000 times 80%? So $1,600 a month. So guess what? Your combined workers' comp, based on what I told you, in your Social Security is less than 80% of your average current earnings. So there's no offset. However, let's assume, for instance, that you were working a job and you were only getting paid, $1,000. I mean, $1,000 a month. Well, your average current earnings would be $800. 80% of your average current earnings would be $800. So guess what? Your combined Social Security and workers' comp is actually $1,000 more than that. Almost, I think it's like $1,063. So you'd be looking at about a $263 offset reduced from your Social Security. Does that make sense? Probably not. What I tell people all the time is this. If you're wondering, I always tell people two things. If you're wondering if you're going to have an offset as a result of your workers' comp, I said it's going to be fairly possible. What's crucial for you is that your workers' comp, if you have an attorney, structure your washout or your workers' comp settlement in such a way so that certain things aren't counted towards those future payments. And if you're not sure what they are, your workers' comp should be able to work those things out for you. They can already tell you that attorney fees don't count. Like I said, I have to pull up the regs. I haven't looked at them in a number of years and so forth to see what other things, but there are a few other things that they don't take in consideration. So keep that in the back of your mind. So I hope that helps, Victor. Thank you very much for the question. Now, last thing I want to touch on, and like I told you before, my apologies. It's kind of rocking and rolling around this thing. So, my bad. The listings. I can tell you that on more than one occasion that I'll have people who will literally try to wonder how they can use the listings. It is not an easy thing to do. I cannot stress it even more. The listings are weird because a lot of times people go to the listings, they look at the specific condition that they have, and they look at the specific little nuances, and they say, okay, these are the things that I have. And then I tell people, make sure that if you're looking at the listings, look at the preamble portion of the listings. What do you mean by the preamble portion? There's usually about, like let's say for instance, you're saying that you believe you meet the listings because you're for depression, or what they call affective disorder, which is 12.0, like 12.04, something like that. Well, there's other provisions that explains what they're looking for the specific criteria under the listings. So that make sure that you don't just solely focus on the little specific nuances in the listings. Look to the earlier paragraphs, which I call the preamble to the listing, for that particular listing impairments. So this way you're not around here having this thought in the back of your mind that, oh yeah, I know I meet these criteria, and then all of a sudden you can't understand why Social Security doesn't catch it as well. I know that that sounds conflicting, and I throw this out here purely mainly because there's been some new changes coming in recently, particularly with the neurological conditions. And one of the things I tell people is that I'm not in the business of I don't want you to be in the position of where I'm going to be walking you through this. You need to get this, and this. This is why getting records from your doctor is so crucial. Okay, so crucial. Part of the problem that most people run across is how to properly apply the various nuances of the listings. That's what gets people twisted on a regular basis. If you're not sure, read the preamble portion, because the preamble portion will actually give you a lot of specific guidance about what particular things they are looking for when they're making a determination of whether or not you meet the listings or not. Again, my apologies for doing an abbreviated show. As I said before, I'm in Central Florida. Hurricane Matthew is heading this way. I'm doing some last minute prep, so I'm kind of rushing. But I wanted to make sure I jump in and got this show rocking and rolling. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better the next time around. Keep those questions coming. And as always, this is your Disability Talk Live with your attorney, Anthony Reeves, host of Q Security Disability Today.